It's time for the Game Show Fans Podcast with Josh and Danny. Hello and welcome to the Game Show Fans Podcast. I'm Josh McLeod.
I'm Danny Lewis.
And I'm X Factor Gaming.
And today we are talking about the best game show revivals of the past 25 years, minus what Rich is going to pick. It's good to be back. We need to give credit. This idea was originally from our friend Dylan Raby, who's not here today.
Better known as Comedy Fan 74.
Sorry you couldn't be here, Dylan. We'll have you on again soon. But we will talk about the shows that you wanted to talk about. And I've picked a random number generator, the magical random number generator, to determine who's going to go first. And it's you, Danny.
It's me? Okay. Well, this show is probably was one of my all-time favorite shows, actually. It's the 1998 to 2004 version of Hollywood Squares, hosted by Tom Bergeron. Now, when most people think of their favorite Squares revivals, actually the Davidson version comes to mind as people's favorites, but my favorite is the Bergeron version, hands down. And when it started in 1998 with regular panel with Whoopi Goldberg as the center square, and other regular panelists at that time included Bruce Vilanch, Caroline Ray, Jeffrey Tambor, Gilbert Gottfried, etc., etc. And
Penn and Teller.
Penn and Teller, that's true. There were countless.
You fool!
Martin Mull.
Martin Mull was on there. Paula Poundstone was on a few of them. That's a little bit of foreshadowing there. Anyway. Yeah, Hollywood Squares 98. Now, in the first season, it was a little different from the rest of the series for a couple reasons. For the first 4, 6, I don't know how many weeks it was, but they had two different bonus rounds. One of them was pick a star and win a prize, and then later on they made it so where you had to agree or disagree with the celebrity correctly in order to win that prize. Now the prize evolved from cars to trips to money, things like that. And the Season 1, they also didn't have returning champions, so you had two new contestants on each show. So watching that first season, one episode, you would pick a star and win a prize, and the next one, they would have to answer a question, and because they aired them out of order, so it kind of got confused. But nonetheless, it's still a great show. And second season, they added returning champions, and they kept the pick a star, win a prize, and answer a question. That was permanent for the rest of that era. Well, not for the rest of that era, but one of the most remarkable things about that second season of Hollywood Squares is the "you fool" moments, where the two Gilbert Gottfried was the only square left, and they spent about 9 different questions with him before they got something right. And every time the contestant got something wrong, Gilbert Gottfried would yell out, "You fool!" And
No, do it right. It's "You fool!"
Right. A great moment in game show history. If you're a Marshall Squares fan or Davidson Squares fan or whatever.
Shame that never happened on the original series. Kind of went on forever.
I don't think it would have.
Well, wouldn't it? Because it wouldn't have gone to either player, because that would have given them the win, so they would have kept going.
There was one time when it was like that with Paul Lynde. He was the only one left.
I think Paul Lynde at that point was getting really antsy and just wanted it over with.
But, yeah, Hollywood Squares 98, it had a lot of great celebrities on there. So let's fast forward to Season 4 in 2001. They changed the theme song a little bit. Also, the music package for this show for both music packages were just great, in my opinion. So, yeah, we mentioned Whoopi Goldberg was a regular fan. She was the center square, along with Tom Bergeron. And in Season 4, they changed the set a little bit. They changed the music. And then 2 months through that season, they revamped the bonus round very much, and it's a lot of people point to this as the demise of Whoopi being on the show. But anyway, it was a big money bonus game where a contestant would pick a celebrity to come down to the middle of the stage with them and answer rapid fire trivia questions that were multiple choice for 60 seconds, and as many as for how many they got right, they would get $3,000 each or something like that. And then, with all the money they accumulated over that 60 seconds, they had a chance to do a double or nothing bonus question. And most times people didn't go for the bonus question. But shortly after they introduced this bonus round, Whoopi Goldberg and the producers, they had on fights. Whoopi wanted more money, and they didn't want to give it to her. So Whoopi left the show, And by the fifth season rolled around, they had a completely new new set, new music. The game was the same, the host was the same, but yeah. What did you guys think about the whole Whoopi Goldberg transition to 8th grade?
I remember really not liking the final format. Like, with the
I think I
keys.
tuned out after Whoopi left. I didn't even watch that much.
Oh. Let's see, 8th, well, they changed the logo. It was H squared is what they called it, H2. And they changed the theme song from I Love Hollywood, which is a song sung by Whoopi Goldberg, and then they changed it to a version of Hollywood Square Biz, which was a song in the 80s.
Everybody get up.
Yeah. It's the Hollywood Square. It was a great song. Both of them were great. I like the Whoopi years better, but yeah. 8 squared, that lasted from 2002 to 2004. Some of the celebrities left. Bruce Valanche only appeared 1 week in 2003. Caroline Ray was gone. Some of the others were gone. But Gilbert Gottfried stayed. Penn and Teller stayed. Martin Mull was the center square in the very last season. I will say that I think they had higher quality celebrities in the Whoopi years than the later ones.
Definitely.
Yeah, Patrick Swayze, FloJo.
Yeah.
John Ritter.
John Ritter was on 8 squared. He was on both of them. And that's interesting to note because, Henry Winkler stepped in to produce after Whoopi Goldberg left, and Henry Winkler and John Ritter were like best friends. So, and speaking of Henry Winkler, one of the most another memorable game show moment from the show was the April Fool's prank they pulled on Tom Bergeron in 2003. Have you guys seen this before?
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
I don't believe I have.
Where Griff from not Griff, the other one from Married with Children.
Bob Rooney
pretends he's a contestant, and the contestants get into a fight.
Yeah, the concept was Tom said, okay, we're doing this new thing called Teacher Tuesday, which is pretty ludicrous to begin with, where you have teachers playing Hollywood Squares. And Ed Bell, I'm surprised no one recognized him because Married with Children was a popular show, I suppose. I enjoyed it. But Ed Bell played a contestant. The other contestant was a lady named Carrie Armstrong. And he played this complete asshole, and he got on Tom's nerves towards the end of the game. And then everyone just started laughing, and Tom couldn't handle the game. And the female contestant actor started crying because she was losing and Ed was being so mean to her. And then after that, Henry Winkler just stopped the show and he just yells out, Tom, April Fools. And then everyone started applauding because they're like, wow, that was a great joke. That was a great prank. Yeah, that was good. And then season 6, the final season of this version, they reverted back to the Peter Marshall format of best 2 out of 3 games. So for the first time in a long time, you would start the show in the middle of a game, which is something we hadn't seen ever since the daytime version, I think. But yeah, that lasted for 6 seasons. And the reason why I picked this one is because this was a celebrity game show that aired in the 70s. And also, I think it's important to note that Hollywood Squares 98, and also it debuted at the same time as Match Game 98, which failed. Yeah. But Hollywood Squares, they took that thing of taking this old celebrity game show that hadn't really, well, no, it did get revived in the 80s successfully. But they did it well for the modern age. We had good modern celebrities, had a good host. And the humor, well, back when it started, they had a little bit of the Monica Lewinsky humor, but not as much as Match Game 98 did. So maybe that's why it lasted longer. But yeah, Hollywood Square was on Game Show Network several different times. Actually, it was GSN showed the first season only in late 1999 to early 2000. Then they showed the seasons 4 to 6, or from 2004 to 2006. And then the most recent showing of this version of Squares on GSN was from 2009 to 2010 when they showed only like the first 2 seasons. A lot of those episodes I have in my personal collection.
Somebody loves Hollywood Squares.
Yeah, besides Lingo, I like Hollywood Squares.
I love Hollywood Squares.
And I'm sure we'd all like to see Hollywood Squares come back to the airwaves today.
And please, no more music.
I would love to see it
more...
come back, and I would love to see it come back specifically with urbane hip-hop stars in all of the squares.
They already did that. Hip-hop squares.
Oh.
They did that twice. They did Hip Hop Squares twice.
Well, then I would like to see it come back with country music stars.
They're already doing that.
Oh. Well, then I'd like to see it come back with polka musicians.
That would be the only way. That's the only other version of.
Why haven't they? I was just saying that maybe there should be a rock and roll version of Square, since there's been a rock and roll version of Jeopardy.
Yeah, but they're all dead.
Yeah, all the good rock musicians took too much heroin and died.
But a lot of good polka musicians are still alive. Why don't we get?
They did not fall into the perils of drug abuse, because
No. I mentioned Polka Squares on that episode of Game Shows I Suppose I was on with Jordan, where we talked about Lingo towards the end. So I'll put a link to that.
Surprised they haven't revived Password yet.
give it time. They
Other
sort
than
of
$1
did.
million, which doesn't count.
They sort of did for Buzzer.
$1 million Password doesn't count.
They sort of did for Buzzer.
Either it is Buzzer Password.
Okay. Anyway.
Hollywood Squares from 98 to 04. I like the Whoopi years better, but still it's one of my favorite revivals of all time. They took a classic celebrity game show and revamped it very well for the modern age.
And now time for my very stupid Whoopi Goldberg joke.
What is it?
There was a movie that was made about her life and about her parents' decision to have her, and the movie was called Let's Make Whoopi. Thank you. I'm here all week.
I actually thought that was funny. Anyway, so yeah, the next show we're going to touch on is, only for a few minutes just for the memes, is Lingo from 2002 to 2007. That technically is a revival because it started in the U.S. in 1987, and then the production company went bankrupt. They sold it to the Netherlands, and they lasted about 29 years with that. I'm exaggerating. But then they sold it to GSN, bought it in 2002, and that was the best revival of Lingo at that time. And then the other show I want to touch on is because Dylan wanted to talk about it. He wanted to talk about Family Feud, which actually started in 1999 with Louis Anderson. What do you guys think about that version?
I vastly prefer the Louis Anderson version over the Richard Karn and John O'Hurley versions.
I don't like any of the more recent ones.
Yeah.
Maybe the Harvey version.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the reason why they picked Family Feud 99 is because of Steve Harvey in the first place.
Well, it is one of the most successful game shows on American television, so...
Don't you mean Family Feud 09? Harvey wasn't there in 99. That was Louis.
Well,
my name's Josh, his name's Danny, but...
This run, it started in 99, and it's been on. It's just with different hosts. But, Steve Harvey is definitely the best host of the four that have been on the syndicated 1999 version so far.
Agreed. So, who's going to go next? It's either me or Rich, and according to the magic number generator, it is... Rich, because you're number 3.
Right.
I have 3, and just because I want to make Josh mad, I'll get Pyramid out of the way first.
Okay.
So, Pyramid 2016 to 2019.
Blasphemy!
Same as it's ever been, just the host change.
Nope. Terrible.
Stop interrupting. Michael Strahan. Better host than some people give him credit for. He could be better, though. Otherwise, the gameplay is just the same as it ever was. So there's really not much more to say about it.
Okay, my retort time. No, it's not the same, because they keep cutting to crap during the game. They cut to Michael Strahan while the game is playing, so that they can speed it up. They changed the tiebreaker because they're stupid and they want to make more money. Michael Strahan can't host for crap. The director basically has ADD. The producer clearly never watched an episode of Pyramid in his life. The host, can't do crap. The contestants...
Maybe I should have used Donnie Net instead.
The contestants seem like they'd rather be anywhere other than there. But it's got Trilons. Hey, it's got Trilons. That immediately makes up for every crappy thing about the new version. Trilons.
Josh, you just stole my point, man. I was going to say, the reason why this version is miles better than the GSN 2012 version is because of the Trilons.
Nope.
And because Michael Richards was a terrible host.
Yeah.
He's better than Strahan.
And they screwed the 2012 version. They screwed everything up.
I agree with that. I vastly prefer the...
At first, I liked the 2012 version just because it was Pyramid. I liked it on name alone.
Well, I think a lot of people like this version on Name Alone because again, it's
as you got into the 2012 pyramid, you realized this isn't what I grew up with.
Neither is this version.
And this one's closer.
I agree.
Well, they don't cut away to goofy crap during the game on the 2012 version.
It's a better way.
They don't cut to Michael Strahan going, "You can't say that. That's wacky."
And let's see, Pressure Luck and Card Sharks 2019. I think all of us that have seen it can agree, as close to the originals as you're going to get.
I don't agree with that.
Without digging up Jim Perry and Peter Tamarkin, rest in peace, both of you.
I don't agree on Press Your Luck. I do agree on Card Sharks.
Have you seen Pressure Luck, Josh?
I've seen some clips of it.
Okay.
I don't like the bonus game. It's like you win the game.
I love the bonus game, although they ripped that off me.
No, they didn't.
They did. I was doing that with you and Danny before the show ever came on. That whole
we did that like a
bonus.
month before. You think they planned? You think that they changed it and refilmed it that quickly?
The only rule change in mine is one whammy. You're out instead of four.
Okay.
Anyway, I love the fact that if somebody hits 500,000 on the big bonus board, it's doubled to 1 million immediately, and the game is over with no risk of losing the million.
That's got to be rigged.
Michael Larson would be proud.
It's got to be. There's no way that they have that where you hit it. There's got to be some sort of caveat you have to do in order for it to be unlocked.
Yeah, you have to make it through every other round of the bonus round.
Exactly. So
that's fair. I mean, you don't want somebody hitting a $1 million square in one round.
It's the problem I had with God. What was the other show that was like, we're offering $1 million? Oh, I guess Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? It's like you can win $1 million. No, you can't. You have to know obscure facts about the post office that no one knows.
Right.
And then on later millionaires, your bank had to add up to $1 million, which was stupid.
Yeah. Millionaires.
Anyway.
I think Millionaire should have been canceled after Terry Crews left. But
I think it should have been canceled after after the 10th after the whole debacle of the 10th anniversary thing.
After Ken Bates.
It should have been canceled after Super Millionaire and never re-aired again.
Super Millionaire was great.
I enjoyed it.
I did too, but they beat it into the ground after that, though.
Went in with a bang, out with a whimper. That's what that show was.
Anyway, Card Sharks is spot on. It's as good as you can get, except for one little flaw in the bonus round.
The double push rule.
The pyramid is not there anymore. It's a straight line instead of a pyramid.
And the double push rule.
Doesn't that rule mean that if you draw the same card, you don't lose your money?
You don't lose, but you don't gain. But they got rid of that and said if it's the same card, you lose everything.
Didn't they do that on the original Perry version, where if you hit the same card and you bet enough, you would lose everything?
You had to change. They changed it pretty quickly.
Honestly, I would have kept that. It makes it more challenging.
I don't. Well, then no one's going to risk it if... Yeah, that's stupid.
I mean, you don't know what card's next. I mean, you could risk it all and say it's lower, then it turns out to be the same card. You just screwed yourself over.
The one game show that Tom Kennedy hated or didn't like. I'm told.
Well, at least there's no clip chips on this version of Card Sharks.
That's true. And there's questions.
Nothing from the 2001 Card Sharks made this version.
Yeah, honestly, I think clip chips would be more interesting these days than in 2001.
I
politically.
do not agree.
The 2001 version did nothing right and did everything wrong.
Man, can you imagine if we had clip chips nowadays? We would be seeing a bunch of social justice warriors on the Card Sharks. That would be fun.
How dare you call it a manhole? You bitch.
It would be a bunch of.
Oh, I gotta cut that, don't I?
Crap.
Yeah, I gotta beat
Considering it's ABC, it'd be a bunch of political crap.
And a bunch of pro-liberal, oh, we have to make sure everyone's okay and we're not hurting anybody's feelings, because,
It would probably, it'd probably work better if you were on if a Card Sharks was on syndicated television.
Yeah.
At least if it was on syndicated, you could run it every day and have returning champions. That's my other gripe with Pressure Luck, too. And Match Game, and Pyramid.
I think if Pressure Luck had returning champions, they would probably be blowing their budget a lot faster.
Yeah.
You would obviously have to cut the $1 million top prize.
That's possible.
I think every show now wants to offer $1 million just so they can say, we're offering $1 million even if it's, impossible to get the $1 million.
I would say the top you could get is $125,000, and as soon as you hit that in winnings, or if you get it in one show, you have to retire.
Yeah, I missed the winner cap.
They should have an ABC version and a syndicated version to go by it. So the ABC version, you have all your big money, and then the syndicated version of Pressure Luck is just like the 80s version in terms of money.
Like, you amass, let's say, how does 250,000 sound, and then you retire.
I miss winning caps. Remember when shows had win caps?
That was the thing when you and me were little, Josh. That was the thing.
And then Jeopardy got rid of it, and Ken Jennings.
Well, it was a thing until I was 2.
And then Ken Jennings, yeah.
To be honest, I miss when Wheel of Fortune had returning champions.
I didn't. It didn't really matter. They overstayed their welcome. They were kind of boring, and like the flair sort of wore off. It really didn't affect the ratings when they got rid of it.
five shows is enough for a show like Wheel of Fortune.
I think you were only allowed to do 3 on Wheel of Fortune, though.
It was originally 3, I think. Then they upped it to 5.
And then they got rid of it, which I think was a good call. Anyway, so yeah, those 2 shows. They're not bad. They're not great, but they're not bad. They're better than Pyramid.
They're both better than Push Your Luck.
Well, the Filipino version of Push Your Luck, that's just hilarious.
Or Whammy, actually. It was Whammy.
Whammy, press
Whammy, Push Your Luck. Yeah.
Push my luck. I love how they said it.
One thing I left out of the Hollywood Squares, let's take a minute. They actually had Peter Marshall on for a week in 2002 when they had their
show host week.
That's right. And Peter Marshall and Tom Bergeron even switched roles on the Thursday episode of the week.
So that Peter Marshall could pimp his book.
That's right.
There's only one way I would have done it to do that better.
What's that?
Bergeron on the Squares, Marshall hosting the entire week.
Oh, well.
Not to say anything wrong, not to say anything bad about Bergeron, because anything he hosts turns to gold. So,
yeah.
Dancing with the Stars, anybody? Such a flimsy format, yet he's made it work.
That's based on a... Oh, I guess it's not. Never mind.
Based on a what?
I was going to say it's based on a Japanese format, but then I remembered, no, it's not. The Japanese format is based on the British format. But anyway.
Still. Anyway, flimsy format, but he made it work.
Correct.
Yeah. So, yeah, I guess I'm up. So we're going to talk about 2 shows. One I like and one that was kind of meh. Let's talk about the one I like first, because shut up. It's called I've Got a Secret, the 2006 revival, not the 2000 revival.
Why was this revival so good, Josh?
Because it had special, like, variety-type guests, and it had an all-gay panel. Yay! Hooray! We're liberally open-minded on this one topic. Yay, gay panel.
In 2006, that was very gutsy, but nowadays you probably wouldn't be fazed by it.
Yeah. Well, now people would be mad. It's like, why do you only have gay people on the panel?
That's just, well, maybe.
Some would. Why can't straight people be on your panel? But anyway.
Why can't straight people be on the panel?
Yeah. You're straight bashing, but regardless. They would. Give it time, they will.
That's true. We do have a straight pride parade coming up. Or I don't know if that already happened, but that did exist.
Yeah. So you have 4 people that are gay, whose names I don't remember. Jermaine Taylor, Billy Bean, not Billy Bush. Billy Bush is straight. Billy Bean, the baseball player. Frank Nicotero, and what's her name?
I forget who the girl was.
Yeah. And Bill Dwyer was the host. We love Bill Dwyer. Yay, Bill Dwyer.
Yes, we do.
We can watch him on I Love the 80s, and I Love the 70s, and I Love the 90s, and all those other I Love This, which I'll send to Danny at some point, so that I can force him to learn about the past.
Right.
But yeah, they would have people come on with secrets, and Bill Dwyer would give the panel a hint, and they would have to ask questions to try to figure out what the guest's secret was. And my favorite was they had stripper jugglers in an episode.
So.
And giving the panel a hint totally goes against what every other version of Secret did.
Well, they sort of did it. I mean, there's a couple times where Steve Allen nearly blew the secret, and he practically gave it away. I know he did that once.
I mean, the black and white version was Gary Moore didn't do that.
Well, he would give them a hint. But anyway, I liked it. I liked the hint.
I enjoyed it too.
Yeah.
And some of the important celebrity guests that this version of I've Got a Secret had include Tom Bergeron of Hollywood Squares and Dancing with the Stars fame, and Glenn Campbell.
And Ben Stein was one of my favorites. Do you want to know what Ben Stein's secret was?
What was that?
Ben Stein's secret was that he had his best friend taxidermied. His dog.
That sounds about right.
Oh. I saw that episode. I was like, what?
Yep, he had his dog taxidermied.
I never saw that.
And do you remember Tom Bergeron's secret?
I think I forget what was it.
He was a mime.
A mime. That's right.
Oh yeah, I remember that episode.
Yeah. What was Glenn Campbell's secret? I forgot.
That he also played bagpipes.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, and then they made him play Amazing Grace on the bagpipes for everybody.
And they had a guy who threw playing cards super fast.
Oh yeah.
And a woman who dated Jack Nicholson in high school.
And they also had the woman who sang the gay national
It's
anthem.
Raining Men.
Yeah, It's Raining Men.
Which I never thought of as a gay song until I accidentally went into that one bar that one time.
You know, I think that's why they had her on the show, because it was a gay show, gay panel. Yeah.
And you have Jermaine Taylor freaking out.
That's something that turned me off to the show. Why they did that is beyond me.
What? Have her on? Or have an all-gay panel?
No, the panel.
I think it was to insinuate the panel. The joke is that the panel all had a secret. Like, I don't know if anyone on the panel was gay. Like, was openly gay, even though it was apparent. Well, actually, never mind. Billy Bean was. Yeah, you're right.
They all were openly gay, and they made a joke occasionally that Bill Dwyer was the straight man to the panel.
That's the good joke. And Billy Bean, you wouldn't know was gay until you, learned that about him. I didn't know that.
Let me do my Jerry Seinfeld impression. Not that there's anything wrong with that. We gotta emphasize that on this show. So.
Yeah, if we don't, we'll get letters.
I gotta throw in my Ben Stein imitation here.
Okay.
Bueller.
I loved him on the game show Outrageous Moments. I watched that last night where he
How about when they gave him his own show, Win Ben Stein's Money?
Yeah, where he said all the words that you're allowed to say on television that sound dirty. Titular, titmouse, innuendo, ball
The second
cock,
one's not even a word.
ball cock, cockshore.
There's probably plenty more than that.
Angina, muff,
Okay, are we done?
Regina.
Regina's a city in Saskatchewan
Yep.
where a lot of polka musicians are from. So.
I have a feeling he made up a lot of those.
No, Regina is real.
Yeah,
I know.
So is
I'm just
angina.
saying, I'm guessing he made up quite a few of those, though.
I don't think so. Anyway, so yeah, bring back, air that GSN. Stop airing Family Feud all day. Air the old I've Got a Secret.
Buzzer has it now.
No, air the Game Show Network version. I think Game Show Network. Yeah, Game Show Network owns that.
Don't air that train wreck.
Yes, do. And then we go to my next show, which is one I never really thought was that great. Which, funny enough, my brain rewrote history on this one for some reason. The 2000 version of To Tell the Truth, as picked by.
Oh, by the way, Dylan wanted to talk about this show.
As picked by Dylan, yes. It's hosted by John O'Hurley, who played Jay Pitterman on Seinfeld. Is that the character?
Peterman.
I called him Jay Pitterman.
And he was on Drake and Josh as that magician. I forget the magician's name.
Harry Houdini. No, wait, that wasn't John O'Hurley. That was somebody else.
Yeah, that was someone else.
Frank Doheny.
Doheny was John O'Hurley.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't John O'Hurley. I think maybe
he
that
did
was.
appear on the show as a doctor at one point in time.
Yeah, no, he played a doctor, and Drake was trying to be a doctor to get close to some woman, and that was it.
Tonight on Guys Talk About John O'Hurley's Career. I love that.
He also hosted Family Feud for a few minutes. I don't know.
Yeah, no one remembers that. Funny enough, that was maybe I don't know who thought of that version, but whatever. Yeah, this version, it was just like the original To Tell the Truth, with Burton Richardson, but for some strange reason in my brain, I have it that, for some reason, I can only remember John O'Hurley asking questions and the audience voting. For some reason, I don't remember the four celebrities.
Well, let's talk about some of the celebrities they had on the show.
Yeah, they had Meshack Taylor was one of the regulars, and the other regular was
Paula Poundstone.
Yeah, who got in some legal trouble and had to be removed from the show. I don't know. I don't know what the story is.
She was removed from the entire second season. I'm not sure it was because of that. It might have had to do with something like that, but for the entire first season, it was Meshack and Paula. Then for the second season, it was just Meshack, and they had 3 variety panelists.
And I remember Brad Sherwood was on a few times. Bryan Cranston before he got super big.
Greg Proops, Richard Kind.
I think
and Katie Carlisle, the Queen of To Tell the Truth. She was on one episode.
Yeah, I think Vivica Fox was on a few times.
Because you got to have Kitty Carlisle on every version of To Tell the Truth.
Except this new one, because it's not possible.
She's dead.
Yeah. Maybe we can have Chris Hart on there.
Thankfully, you took to tell the truth. I wouldn't touch the new version with a forklift.
You know what? Ironically enough, I don't think that one's as bad as people say it is.
I hate it.
It's got its flaws. I will not deny that. I wish that they would limit it to. I wish that they would show all the questions, and I wish they would have a question period. But I like some of the guests. I like some of the formats.
No offense to anybody that likes the show. I think it's garbage.
Except Eliza Schlesinger. Stop inviting her for things.
I think it's meh. But they had a polka guy, Jimmy Sturr, on the most recent episode.
You and your polka.
Yeah. Like it could be Satan incarnate as long as it's got a polka guy on it, and you'd watch it. I'm sure. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I guess we're done. So thank you. That was a great news segment. And this, I guess, has been the Game Show Fans podcast. As always, I am your fearless leader, Josh McLeod.
I'm Danny Lewis.
And I'm X Factor Gaming.
And thank you for joining us on this episode. And remember, it's hard to see the end when you're beginning. The Takeshi's Castle Full Games Rundown. I don't know if that's the name of this segment, but we're going to call it that anyway. I'm Joshua again, and I'm here to talk about my favorite game show from Japan, not necessarily my favorite, Takeshi's Castle. For those who don't know, Takeshi's Castle was a game show that aired in Japan from 1986 to 1989 that used a number of games. Most Americans probably know it as the game show that was used to make up MXC, Most Extreme Elimination Challenge. In this segment, I'm going to take you through every game ever featured on the program, one at a time, over the course of many episodes. And by the way, this segment is totally not a rip-off of a better segment on another show that involves Price is Right. Yeah, we're totally not ripping them off. But if we were, here's what it would be. So our first game we're going to talk about these games in alphabetical order, and we're going to put them out as such. So we're not going to talk about them in order of the dates in which they premiered. We're going to talk about them in alphabetical order, but we're not going to talk about them in English alphabetical order because some of the games don't translate well into English. We're going to talk about them in the alphabetical order in which they were in Japanese. So we're going to start out with the very first game, which in English is called The Weight of Love. In the UK version, it was called Walk the Plank. In MXC, it was called Plank Spankers. This game was only played in couples specials. There is a row of 10 planks floating in the lake. The pairs need to cross the water by stepping from one plank to another. The two contestants have to step on opposite sides of the plank at the exact same time. If weight is put on just one side, the plank will tip up, so the contestants need to step onto and off of each plank at the same time, or roughly the same time, in order to keep it balanced. If the contestants make it to the finish platform at the end of the planks without falling in the water, they win and move on to the next game. But if either of them falls in the water, they lose the game. This game was played twice on the show, once in episode 36 and again in episode 98, and was also a variant of a similar game called The Weight of Family, which was basically the same game, only it was played with parents and children instead of couples. And the set was slightly different. In this version, instead of a bug theme, there was a heart theme, hence the couple's love. All the planks were pink for these two episodes. In it, 3 contestants were shown winning, several were shown failing, and one set of contestants ended up winning the Fighting Spirit Award in episode 98. It is the only time any variant of this game ever produced a Fighting Spirit Award winner. So that's The Weight of Love. Oh, and before I forget, because we have to do that, the BGM playing in the background, which you will hear right now, is called Bad News, and it is from the 1986 movie Just Between Friends, which starred Mary Tyler Moore, and Ted Danson.